Chloride, TCE, trichloroethylene, they're regulated in the range closer to 1 in 10,000. So putting in perspective, that's what I was using as a comparison.
Carey also says that even though the limit might be 1 part per billion, the state ordinarily makes water suppliers take action before a chemical reaches the maximum level, meaning, in practice, water utilities will be forced to meet an even lower limit. And then there's the potential cost for water providers and ratepayers.
You have to take in the cost of the treatment, and there has to be a balance of actually what's feasible to implement.
Esposito says the proposed new limit, which would be the first firm regulation on 1,4-dioxane in the country, will protect New Yorkers.
Right now, there is no standard. So for the public to gain that level of protection, that's a significant advancement of public health protection.
Esposito acknowledges the challenge is how water providers will pay to meet this new state standard.
Many of the water suppliers do due diligence, but they actually want to know what's in the drinking water. The problem is when they find out something's there, the cost of the treatment.
New York State allocated $2.5 billion towards water infrastructure in 2017. And last October, the state announced $200 million of that money would fund treatment for emerging contaminants, including 1,4-dioxane. At Bethpage's Plant 6, the level of 1,4-dioxane tested 8 times higher than New York's proposed threshold.
So 2 million gallons a day of water can be treated through the set of reactors.
The Water District is piloting this Advanced Oxidation Process, or AOP, and splitting the nearly $3 million cost with the state. The system, which is still being tested, is one of the only known ways to remove 1,4-dioxane from water.
One of the more significant challenges in dealing with 1,4-dioxane is it's highly soluble, which makes it difficult to come out of water through some traditional treatment techniques.
Human showed us how it works. Hydrogen peroxide is added to the untreated water. The water is then run past UV lamps. The process breaks down and removes the 1,4-dioxane from the water.
You can do everything from a technical perspective, and you can understand the theory and how the treatment's supposed to work, but there's always the practicality of the actual operation of the system.
But they're looking at
In fact, there are unknowns about how this technology even works. At the Center for Clean Water Technology at Stony Brook University, researchers are studying the system using a miniature version and setting up AOP pilot projects at 4 water utilities on Long Island. Arjun Venkatesan is the Associate Director for Drinking Water Initiatives at the center.
So this is a simulated groundwater where we add known amounts of contaminants into it. In this case, it's 1,4-dioxane, and the water is pumped through the reactor. This is set up in such a way that we can understand how quickly the dioxane degrades over time.
The center's researchers are also looking at chemical byproducts created when UV light reacts with the contaminated water.
We want to make sure the advanced oxidation process system does not generate some toxic chemicals that we don't understand yet.
Long Island's industrial past plays a big role in its drinking water issues. Bethpage was home to a 600-acre complex where the U.S. Navy and defense contractor Grumman, now Northrop Grumman, developed and built aerospace equipment from the mid-1930s to the 1990s. Industrial waste from the site has sunk down to the aquifer, which is the sole source of drinking water for nearly 3 million people on Long Island. Engineer Rich Human says the underground plume, as it's known, is a reality that water providers like Bethpage have to deal with.
We're never going to get away, at least I'm going to say in my lifetime, from the fact that we've got the old Navy Grumman property.
Right.
We've got one of the most significant groundwater contamination plumes in the entire country, that this water district has been impacted like no other and dealing with the burden that frankly no water supply should have to deal with, but they have no choice.
Elsewhere on Long Island, some water providers are suing the makers of 1,4-dioxane. Since 2017, at least 10 of them have filed lawsuits against Dow Chemical and 2 other chemical manufacturers. In a statement to NewsHour Weekend, Dow said in part that, quote, "these lawsuits are without merit." The chemical industry more broadly downplays the risk from 1,4-dioxane. In a statement, the American Chemistry Council, an industry group, said, in part, it's troubled by New York's recommendation for 1,4-dioxane, claiming that it's neither scientifically justified nor economically feasible, and points out that in Canada, the limit is 50 parts per billion, 50 times New York's proposed standard. Meanwhile, in Bethpage, officials tell us it's not just the contaminants they know about, like 1,4-dioxane, that worry them. Considering all of the other chemicals out there that have happened in the last 30 or 40 years, when science starts to figure out how to detect those in the water, does that mean we're going to have to build new tools like this just to be able to get that out of our drinking water?
Hey, what's going
if
on, brother
1,4-dioxane is an
Denobian?
indicator, then
Appreciate the
that's
likes of everybody
likely.
hitting the like button.
This is PBS NewsHour Weekend, Saturday.
Acting Defense Secretary Patrick Shanahan, Joint Chiefs Chairman General Joseph Dunford, and other Pentagon officials toured a site on the border with Mexico near El Paso, Texas today. The Department of Homeland Security requested Defense Department funding for construction of roads, replacement of vehicle barriers, and pedestrian fencing. The Pentagon has not yet decided whether to divert as much as $3.6 billion from military construction projects for border security. The Russian news agency TASS reported that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un left Pyongyang by train today, heading to Vietnam ahead of his summit with President Donald Trump in Hanoi this coming Wednesday. Preparations for the second summit between the two leaders included the official opening of an international media center in Hanoi today. President Trump is scheduled to leave for the summit on Monday. The vote count is underway in Nigeria after today's postponed presidential election began with problems. Voters faced hours-long delays at polling stations across the country, and there were reports of gunshots and explosions in some locations. The presidential election was originally planned for last Saturday, but delayed due to logistical difficulties. Muhammadu Buhari is seeking his second term as president of Nigeria, Africa's most populous country and largest economy. Election observers say that preliminary results will be released next week. The United Methodist Church is beginning a meeting in St. Louis today on whether to allow same-sex weddings and the ordination of LGBTQ clergy. Nearly 900 delegates from around the world will vote on whether to lift church bans around LGBTQ inclusion for congregations in the U.S., votes that might lead to the church being split into 3 denominations. The United Methodist Church is one of the largest Protestant denominations in the United States. In recent years, membership in the U.S. has declined, but globally, particularly in parts of Africa, the church is growing.
I wonder why.
Join us tomorrow for an inside look and listen from
America's
Louis
not-
Armstrong's archives, now digitized and ready for new generations of musicians. That's all for this edition of PBS NewsHour Weekend. I'm Hari Srinivasan. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.
Yep. A little special edition. All right. Yeah, family. Yeah, I just had to play that for y'all real quick. Yeah. Something what they doing to the waters and stuff, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty wild. Actually, there was another video I came across today too. Y'all probably might be familiar with Truth Unveiled. It was a video that he did last year. And I'm gonna try to see if I can pull it up. Pull it up by any chance. Let's see. But if I can't, I probably will have to I will have to come back and I'm gonna record that one too. So yeah, it's a lot of things going on, you know. But anyway, good to see y'all on here. And when I'm gonna do another video real soon on the number of viewers recorded from Truth Unveiled. It was a video that he done last year, so I can have everybody listen to that. All right. Other than that, appreciate hitting the like button and share this around. And I'll see y'all in a little bit. Peace.